So I've got my essay.
Boys. Oh my god, what have I just witnessed? Let's go. So, our first stream on YouTube Live. And oh my god, Joe isn't actually here, by the way. He was going to be, but it seems to have vanished somewhere. But anyway, we have quite an incredible race that has just happened. And oh my god, I just don't know what's happened. I'll be honest with you all. Mercedes have launched official complaints against the FIA, not the FIA, against, well, sort of against the FIA. So, these are the stewards' documents. You can see here summons under Mercedes and Red Bulls, well, not Red Bulls, under the FIA's alleged breaching of Article 48.12. We'll see if they, and we're just sort of stuck here waiting for results. It'll be very interesting, to say the least. It'll be very interesting. Ooh. So, all we really know is that Lewis Hamilton and, I believe, Max Verstappen, this is what this article is showing, must report to the stewards in relation to the incident below. Protest by Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula 1 team against the classification established at the end of the competition, alleged breach of Article 48.12 of the 2021 FIA Sporting Formula 1 regulations. Is it? I'm sorry, there you go. Hopefully that's a bit better. It's a bit hectic. But at the moment, Max Verstappen is your world champion. And I suspect he will stay that way. Because even if they find out that it's wrong, and that, well, I mean, technically the FIA have broken rules in a sort of technical sense, whether they will change their own opinions on that, it's a little bit unheard of, really, though, because the governing body have actively broken the rules, but nobody's really sure what happens then, because the people that Mercedes appeal to get the decisions changed are that same governing body. So I am as confused as any of you, if I'm being honest. It is a bit of a stinker. But yeah. So this is document 55. This is Lewis Hamilton's one, stating that he must in fact go till the end to the stewards right now, and well, by then, in relation to that incident below. So, nobody's quite sure what's going to happen. Nobody's sure what's going to happen. But I don't think they're going to change a decision. I think Max Verstappen will remain in the championship. Whether he should be world champion or not is a different question. I want to make it clear, I think either driver would have deserved it this race, but it is whether it was morally right for Verstappen to win it in that way, shall we say? Because while I think he did drive an incredible race, he drove very well. Red Bull did every strategy that they could possibly think of. I also think that it's probably not been done in the best way. And can we also just all agree that the FIA this season has been an absolute shambles? Like, Absolute shambles. How is that? Well, is it fixed? Shoot me if it's fixed, because it's on a really weird levels on the GoXLR. Anyway, we'll go on the basis that that's fixed, because it looks like it's fixed in OBS. But yeah, absolute shambles on the steward's behalf. It is a real shambles, if I'm being honest. I haven't seen this for ever, really, if I'm being honest. We do still await the release of those documents, but we do still await the release of those documents. But I'm worried. I'm worried because, well, I don't know. Actually, I really don't know what will happen, to be honest. Because technically speaking, the FIA did break the rules, and Lewis Hamilton should have won that race. But no matter what their mistake may have been, I don't think they're going to change their opinion now, on the basis that the way that, well, the FIA made the decision, and then, well, the people that Mercedes need to appeal to change that decision is the FIA. And they're not going to go back on what they've just said, because they're sort of appealing against themselves, and it confuses me. But Max Verstappen is your 2021 World Championship, Harrison. Is your 2021 World Champion. But it was decided in, let's just say, a very and slightly illegal way, in my opinion. But I do think he deserves it. I think either one of them would have deserved that championship. But I'm just not happy with the way that it was won. Because it really wasn't a championship. Well, I think it was a championship won by Max Verstappen. You know, incidents like Silverstone mean he could have scored a load more points. But then again, incidents like Baku mean that Lewis could have. But I think either one of them deserves that championship. Max got it, and I think we'll keep it. But it will be very interesting to see what the stewards come out with. As you can see, below me, this was the provisional race classification. I did not notice Yuki Tsunoda came P4. How do you share this? If you're on mobile, or share the stream, button on mobile, big share button underneath the thing. If you're on PC, then just share the link, and it should be fine. But I'm on an RN. So this is anyway. This is the proper classification. As of now, this is the provisional classification. So the order that they finished the race in before any protests. And as we can see, Max Verstappen is the world champion currently. However, Mercedes have forwarded it to the FIA, and well, they've complained about it to the FIA. And this has happened. So well, there is for most people. There's a share, like an arrow does that. But anyway, I don't know. But that's the way that it is. That's the way that it is. And we're just waiting for the FIA to decide on that regulation. Both Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen have been sent to the steward's office regarding that rule. And who knows what's going to happen. Merry Christmas, by the way, everyone. I keep saying Anyway. It's very tricky. This is just a summons for Red Bull, as this was a summons for Mercedes. This is both Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton being summoned to the race directors. This is just a load of lap time finishing things. Anyway, it's difficult. It's difficult, and I don't think anyone really knows how it's going to go. If we check Twitter, let's have a look. What if the FIA put anything out? No, just the provisional. Starting grid. See, this says final results. No, sorry, full results. So if it's full results, then I don't know. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird. Oh, it's a difficult season. It's a difficult season. Yeah, so cheating and rigged are both trending on Twitter. I'm just saying. Yeah, so I think both Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton were both very worthy of that title. I don't think Max Verstappen should have won it in the way that he did. Because, while the championship may have been won by Max Verstappen, that race was not won by Max Verstappen. That race was won by the FIA. And I think by the way that cheating and rigged are both trending on Twitter, that a lot of people agree with me. So there is your reasoning, and this is what's happened so far. Well, let me explain, Harrison, because you didn't watch the race. I don't know why not. But basically, Lewis Hamilton was leading. They called a safety car, and the rules say that if the safety car, basically Max had pitted, and so there were cars in between him and Lewis, but Max could have Max needed to lap them, if you see what I mean. Like unlap him, like past them, because they were a lap behind, basically, and there was a safety car because someone crashed. So they all bunched up, Lewis and then everybody else, because the stewards didn't want the lapped cars going round the circuit, because... What do you mean you slept in? It's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Britain. And you didn't sleep in because you were on this morning. Shush shush. Unless you had a nap after lunch. Which wouldn't surprise me, actually. Anyway, yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. And basically, the FIA said first that they weren't going to let lapped cars through because there was debris on track. They then cleared the debris and changed their minds, which in theory is fine, but before they resumed racing, they did not wait for all the cars to go through. Now, if you look at the FIA sporting regulations, which govern Formula 1, then you will see that here, sporting regulations, I believe it's page 49. A sec, let me find it. So, here we are. It's these sections that people are having an issue with. So, 48.9 says that the cars will continue at reduced speed without overtaking until they reach the line of cars behind the safety car. That's fine. That was completed. All good. All went to plan. Okay. Next, it is this section here that people are having a problem with. It's this section here. So if the stewards, or the clerk, in this case Michael Massey, considers it safe to do so, and the message lapped cars may now overtake. It was sent to all competitors via the official messaging system. Okay, that's all fair enough. That's all went as according to plan, as it should have done. Okay, Now, yes, they changed their minds quite quickly, but Michael Massey is fully within his rights to do that. He's completely allowed to do that. And there's not much that they can do about it if he decides that it is now safe. That's completely fine. Okay, the bit that everyone has issue with is this bit, where it says that any cars that have been lapped by the... My highlighting is weird. Any cars that have been lapped by the leader will be required to pass the cars on the lead lap and the safety car. Now, herein lies the rub, in the way that the drivers between Lewis and Max decided that they would... Well, were told that they could go past Lewis and the safety car and return to their correct positions. But the three drivers behind Max Verstappen didn't. So, not all cars passed on the lead lap, and and they didn't pass before the session was green flagged and the safety car came in, effectively. The problem with that is that, well, it's written in here. They're not legally allowed to do that. That's the issue. So, for those who have just joined, give me your opinions. Give me some questions in chat. What do we want? What do we want answering? What are our opinions? Don't be toxic, but good opinions. Good opinions. And let's see what we can find out. So, the next bit, of course, is unless the clerk of the course, in this case Michael Massey, considers the presence of the safety car is still necessary, which he deemed that it wasn't, because he gave the lapped cars may now overtake message. Once the last lapped car has passed the leader, the safety car will return to the pits. Now, the last lapped car didn't pass the leader, but even so, it says that the safety car will return to the pits at the end of the following lap. Now, the safety car returned to the pits at the end of that lap, so that's also against the sporting regulations. Now, the problem with that is that the FIA broke their own rules, which is then a bit of a problem, because when Mercedes we'll just check if there have been any more. No, there haven't. Nothing yet. If there have been any more things, but they're on. So, give me a second, compiling thoughts. Yeah. But basically, the problem is that the FIA are trying to... Well, Mercedes have complained to the FIA about the FIA. That's the issue. They don't have a problem with Red Bull. They have a problem with the FIA. The problem with that is that they're complaining to the FIA. And the FIA aren't going to go against their own decision because, well, it makes no sense. If you know what I mean. I'll keep checking. I'll keep you updated on Twitter. You want my updates? Twitter at Hyperion365TV. And I'll keep you updated on there if nothing happens. Here. This is all about VSC. We're not interested in any of that. Either way, it's very interesting. The FIA tweeted anything? Still nothing. Who is the guy? I want to say it's, yes, Chris Medland. He's the geezer. He's the geezer that has all the information. So, what we've deduced from Chris is that, yeah, I was watching post-race interviews, and there were a few drivers. Well, I saw Norris's one, I didn't see Ricciardo's one. But Norris definitely, at least, said that he would be Norris said he was happy that Max was world champion, but he was also not. Well, he's not happy with the way that the race was handled, and he's not happy with how the restart occurred. And I think I'm with Lando on it. I'm happy that Max won because I think he deserved it. I also think Lewis deserved it. However, that restart was quite appalling, and the way it was handled is pretty unacceptable on the FIA's behalf. If you get what I mean. Yeah. It's poor, yeah. So, Chris said he's told Hamilton won't be speaking to the media until after the 2 protest hearings. Okay, the second one has just started. So we should be getting a decision from the first one soon. I believe there were 2 protests. The first one to do with the official restart. And I'm not quite sure what the second one's about. Or maybe they were both to do with the way that the restart was handled. Of course, Christian Horner is saying we're disappointed that there's been a protest and we trust in the FIA. He's a great publicist, Christian Horner. So is Toto. The wrong article numbers were given, but the protests appear to relate to Max overtaking Lewis behind the safety car, before the safety car line on the restart, and on the fact that only some lap cars are allowed to overtake. I'm not sure about the first one, if I'm being honest. I don't see much sense in that. Because he was still behind him, so it doesn't make much sense that they would like at the end when the safety car was doomed, so that doesn't make much sense. But the second one, where only some lap cars are allowed to overtake, that is the one I'm struggling to get to grips with what the FIA were thinking when they decided to blatantly break their own rules, as seen here under the sporting regulations. Where is it? 48.11? Where is it? No, 48.12. Here we are. Where it quite clearly says that any cars that have been lapped by the leader will be required to pass the cars on the lead lap and the safety car. It's pretty clearly laid out, and also it's pretty clearly laid out down here. Once the last lap car has passed the leader, the safety car will return to the pits at the end of the following lap. That's the issue that I think lots of people are having. They're having an issue with the end of the following lap part because the safety car did not come in at the end of the following lap. The safety car came in at the end of that lap. And they also did not let all the cars through, which is, I think, a problem that the majority of people are going against. So, yeah, Chris is keeping us updated here. Chris Medland, F1 journalist and broadcaster. But yeah, Lando Norris, at the end of the race, in the race interviews, said that he was happy, and I think I'm with Lando on the way that this race has turned out. I feel like Lando said that he's happy that Max won. Obviously, Lando Norris and Max Verstappen, great friends. But still, he's happy that Max won. But he's not sure about the way that he won it and the way that race was resumed. So I would not be surprised if I'm 99% sure that the protests aren't going to go anywhere because of the way that still nothing is there from the FIA. But yeah, there's... I don't know. It's tricky. It's so tricky. It's so tricky. I will keep everybody updated when things come through, don't worry. But yeah, Lando was a bit unhappy. He was happy for his friend, but he was also unhappy in the way it was won. I didn't see Daniel Ricciardo's interview, but I can assume he said the same thing, being Max Verstappen's friend. Why has he tweeted this twice? That mildly confused me. It's just like a slightly modified tweet. Why would he tweet it twice? Let's have a look. What's Will Buxton been saying? What's he said? Yeah, well done, I must say, to Max Verstappen on that. I think this tweet sums it up quite perfectly, Will Buxton. Oh shit. Yeah, brilliant. Also, yeah, can we talk about Sergio Perez for a bit? Absolute legendary. He's on an old pair of softs, and the guy properly defends Lewis Hamilton for however many laps it was. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from Sergio Perez. Absolutely brilliant work. But, yeah. It will be very interesting, and I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if the FIA decide not to appeal the decision, that it gets sent to, I don't know what the higher authority than the FIA is, but I also don't think it's fair on Mercedes that they are being forced to complain to the people that they're complaining about, and they're being the judgment on that, because they're obviously going to say, no, we were right. It's so difficult. It's so difficult for Mercedes to complain about something like that, because they're complaining not about another competitor. I don't think they actually have that much of a problem with Red Bull, at least at this race and in this situation. But I think they do have a problem with the FIA, because it's not Red Bull that lost them that race, it's the FIA. And I personally don't think that's right. I think if he was to lose the race, then it should have been Max Verstappen who stopped him losing the race, not Michael Massey, which it was. And that is what I think a lot of F1 fans are having a problem with. So, that's my views, at least. Any questions, write them in chat. I will do my best to answer them. But yes, it's very, very interesting. Still nothing, I believe, from Formula 1. Let's have... Okay, here we have a document. Race scrutineering. Let's have a look. This is the technical report from the cars. So, a fuel sample was taken from cars 55, that's Carlos Sainz, 63, that's George Russell. Who is 47? I want to say that's... Yeah? Is it? I'm going to be kicked for doing that. An engine oil sample was taken from George Russell, and who's 47? I'm such a bad person. Car 47. Oh, F1. Give me 1 second. I'm an expert. 47. Mick Schumacher. I knew that. That's it, Mick Schumacher. No wonder I didn't know it was new this year. So, all of the tyres were checked. All of these cars were weighed. Steering wheels were checked. This is all just... Nothing so far. Fuel sample was taken from car number 16. I think that's it. On the technical regulations front. Sorry about the yawn, I'm incredibly tired. But again, no decision on the newest information. No decision yet from the FIA. Sainz as well was a bit confused about the restart because he was stuck behind Ricciardo and Stroll, who hadn't been allowed to unlap themselves to the final lap, and was held up as a result, leaving him under pressure. Yeah, that's it's interesting. It's such a weird one. Oh, that's a good point. Didn't realise how Tsunoda got how close. There. Didn't realise how close Tsunoda got to a podium. Finished just 0.5 seconds behind Sainz at the flag. Yuki Tsunoda, can I just say, I came into the season riding a bit of the Tsunoda hype train. I went, whoa, he's going to be really great. Saw him outbreak Fernando Alonso in Bahrain and went, whoa, that's actually really, really cool. And then he just fell off a bridge for the rest of the Formula 1 season. His driving just went... but the last 2 or 3 races, he's driven really well, in fairness. On race pace, on race day, he's outdoing Gasly, I think. Obviously, quali he needs to work on. Pierre Gasly being an absolute cracker of a qualifier. I think Tsunoda may have him in the races. At least he definitely did today. Whether that was due to a problem with Gasly's car in qualifying that may have carried over into the race, I don't know. But why on earth is Monaco trending? Let's have a look through what people are saying. Let's go through what people are saying. Me mentally preparing myself in front of the TV when the F1 intro comes onto the race this Sunday. It's true, it's true. Also, can I agree how much I love helmet cam? It's just the best. It's just brilliant how brilliant helmet cam is. It really makes you realise how fast those cars are going. Max Verstappen is the world champion. Kimi Räikkönen DNF'd his final race, but it didn't stop us getting him as driver of the day. I'm so sad to see Simi go. I'm so sad to see Kimi go. There'll be no more answers to any interviews, unless Bottas becomes incredibly unspoken. He's just like, I will become Kimi. I apologise for my Finnish accent. Let's have a look. Let's have a look under hashtag tweeting. Yeah, it's not good. I think, yeah, I've made it quite clear where I stand on the matter, but I don't think they're going to change it. Whether that's right or wrong, I think it's wrong. But, go British bias, whatever, kill me. But I don't think it's okay for the governing body to go against their own sporting regulations and rules just in order for a better race. And I know this is going to be quite controversial, but I think if Max Verstappen was leading that race and Lewis Hamilton won because he was allowed to pit for softs on the basis that the FIA decided to modify the rules, I would not be happy with Lewis Hamilton winning the title that way. And I don't think many of Lewis's fans would be either. In the same way that I don't think many of Max's fans are very happy with him winning the championship in the way that he did. I've been looking and, recent polls, they've all been saying, what am I meant to do? So, what can you do? Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, Twitch chat. Right, chat, we have Joe coming on. Joe coming on the stream. Hello, Joe. Joe. Joe? What is he doing? Yeah, and Joe's mic's gone. Woo! We love it when Joe's mic breaks. Joe, man, you need a... Oh, for God's sake, Discord. You call me. Problems with Discord, man. We good now? Jesus, Joe. We'll try my channel. Joe? This is unbelievable. I apologise for everyone's entertainment value. This is not ideal. Anyway, while we wait for Joe to sort his computer out, chat, let's have a little look here. So, yeah, this perfectly outlines it. He was a bit. Any cars that have been lapped by the leader will be required to, and that's Joe.
Hello, Josh.
Good, I can hear you. We're all fixed.
You stuck on RPG connecting all this time.
Ah, how interesting. Chat, give me an idea as to how loud Joe is in comparison to me, so I can tweak the audio if needs be. Anyway, I've just been going over basically what we've been talking about. As far as I'm aware, nothing new has come from the stewards yet. No. But we have a provisional classification. Max Verstappen is your world champion of current.
Right.
These are what's happened. So there have been 2 protests by Mercedes. The first one against the protest of the race results, and the second one against Max Verstappen himself on the... I can't remember exactly what it was. Chris Medland.
Yeah, I do believe. I was having a look on Sky News. I think it was when I came in, and I saw that there were 2. Things where they're saying they're not happy.
Yeah,
I'm just whacking up Twitter to have a quick look.
Yeah, bring up Twitter. So this is Chris Medland. He does. He covers lots of the Formula One stuff pretty quickly. So yeah, Sainz was another one with Norris and Ricciardo, who was very confused. Norris's general view. I watched Norris's interview. I didn't see Danny Rick's or Carlos's because I ran upstairs to start the stream. But I saw Lando's, and basically what Lando said is that basically what I agree with. He said he's very happy that Max had the championship, and he thinks that both Lewis and Max deserve that championship, which I agree with. But he's not entirely happy in the way that this particular race was run, or especially directed at that restart after the safety car. And I believe Danny Rick shared similar feelings. Sainz was stuck behind Ricciardo and Stroll, who hadn't been allowed to unlap themselves for the final lap. So that left him under quite a lot of pressure, and he really wasn't sure what to do in that situation, despite coming up third. So Carlos Sainz, great race from him.
Yeah.
Chris has put out, he said, feel for Verstappen and Red Bull right now because this safety car restart isn't a situation of their making at all. This is a point that I've actually made out, because I don't think Mercedes is necessarily angry. I don't think they're angry with Red Bull on this. This is the problem that I have. Not that I have, the problem that Mercedes has is that their argument isn't with Red Bull this time, because when they have an argument with Red Bull, they have people to oversee it. They have the FIA, who consult the sporting regulations and then say, this is right, so you get a penalty. But this time, Mercedes is angry with the FIA. But the person who mediates that is the FIA. So
yeah, it's a little bit unbalanced, isn't it?
It is, because the FIA aren't going to turn around and say, yeah, our bad guys.
See, if you ask me, I think that a lot of the fans on either side are very upset about just the final lap in general. I don't think that people are angry at Red Bull as such, especially Mercedes fans. I don't think they're angry at Red Bull. I think they're just angry at the way that the FIA treated that final lap. I think that, yeah.
I think even the people that are, jumping around like mad, Verstappen fans, and I completely understand that you would be, yeah, as a die-hard Max Verstappen fan, I think there has to be that twinge of doubt in your mind, thinking, yeah, it's all very good that Max has won the championship,
Yeah.
but if our races are going to be run like this from now on, what is going to happen? Because it's a shambles, if I'm being honest, the FIA this season. Absolute shambles. And they've put the quality of the show over the technical and sporting regulations, which I don't feel is right. Because if we're not abiding by the rules, then it's not a sport.
If you ask me, I think that a lot of the Red Bull fans, and especially I think Verstappen himself, must be very upset because he would have liked to have won it, off his.
I don't think Verstappen's upset, but I think he is. I think he's stressed, and I think later on, I think he's a bit stressed because, well, they're contesting his world championship right now in the stewards' room. But I feel as though I don't think the stewards will change their minds. At least in this interview, whether Mercedes decide to take it further or not, I don't know. They are well within their rights to do that, I believe, and take it to a sporting court if they'd like to, against the FIA and Formula One. Whether they decide to do that or not, I don't know. But yeah, I agree with Chris. He said it's whether race control did the right thing, but Verstappen did exactly what he had to do given the chance, but now he just has to wait for confirmation of his title, which is what I think is a little bit weird, if I'm being honest, because
it is a bit strange.
Imagine you've just had all the celebrations that you've become world champion, and nobody's actually sure 100% whether you're going to be world champion.
Yeah, I think it's quite hard on both sides, but especially Verstappen, because it's not his fault that this happened, to be honest.
Exactly.
If I was given the opportunity, and say I was an F1 driver, if I was given the opportunity to do so, where maybe I had an advantage in some way, then I would take that advantage or take that opportunity. I wouldn't just sit there and let it happen. So you can't blame Max. It's the FIA that's, the problem in this scenario. But
yeah, it's not good. It's pretty poor it's very poor, in fact, on the FIA's behalf. Yeah.
I just read a tweet. Netflix are the real winners here.
It's true. I swear, true. Netflix have to squeeze this season into 10 episodes of Drive to Survive. How are they going to do it?
I can't wait to watch that.
I would have made 3 episodes out of that race alone. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. I'm a bit annoyed with this picture, if I'm being honest. Well, I'm happy and annoyed. They've cut Mazepin out of it because he wasn't there. Yeah, look, he's not there. But look, Bottas has got his special suit on for his last race, and he doesn't colour match, and it's really annoying me.
Yeah, it's a bit sad, really.
It is. Kimi, I'll tell you what is sad though. Kimi, yeah, George. What did George Russell say? I forget. Because he was, say, quite strongly minded about the opinion. Yeah, his tweet was it's pretty unacceptable the way that it's been handled, and I'd agree with this statement. And he said Max is an absolutely fantastic driver who has had an incredible season, and I have nothing but huge respect for him. But what just happened is absolutely unacceptable, and I can't believe what we've seen. And I have to agree with him because, and he's not calling Red Bull or Max unacceptable or any other driver. It's directed at the FIA, and I think we've seen this a lot. And I wouldn't be surprised if once Verstappen's title has been confirmed, that Red Bull and Mercedes, and in fact the other Formula One teams, have proper beef with the FIA about the way that this season's been handled together, because it's not good. It's not good. They put sport above the and while I appreciate that it's good publicity for them, and good publicity for Formula One is never a bad thing, they do need to think about the integrity of the sport and the integrity of their rules.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I mean, if they're the ones that are setting the rules and they're the ones that are not adhering to them, then it's sort of just it makes a joke out of them, and it shows that they're just not really a very reliable decision making.
Yeah, it's not great, is it? It's not great.
It's just not good. Just getting up Sky News on my phone so I can see what they're saying at the moment about it. But I think the general consensus is that people aren't really... from either side, I think the people think that it was dealt with.
That's what I can tell. From either side, it's not good. George Russell may be a little bit biased, but I think he has a valid point. Maybe not... I sense this was a bit more pro-Mercedes aimed, this tweet. But I think what his meaning is right behind him, because he's obviously tweeted this and then quickly corrected himself as to what he means, because this tweet on its own would have been a little bit controversial. But I think he's just confirmed what he actually meant, and I would have to agree with him on that. It's not great. It's not great at all.
Indeed. Someone in your...
Yeah, well, I've seen it. Yeah, I agree. It's not great, is it? So, yeah, it's quite clearly laid out in the sporting regulations that they can't do that. But the problem that they've had is, and it's one that I've been explaining, and it's that when Mercedes have a problem with, say, Red Bull or any other Formula 1 team on the track, they have a meeting about it, and it's overseen and mediated by the FIA and Michael Massey and the stewards. The problem is that Mercedes now have a problem with Michael Massey and the stewards and the FIA, and the person, or the people, the group that oversees that, is the FIA, and the FIA is not going to go back on their own decision and say, no, guys, don't worry about the rules. They were right, we were right. Don't worry about it. Then, because they're not going to come out and say our bad guys.
The problem is they're not setting a very good example.
Yeah, I think
for someone who's supposed to remain impartial, it's not good.
Yeah, I think that they. And I think this works both ways, In Silverstone, I think Lewis probably should have deserved a harsher penalty than a 5-second penalty for forcing Verstappen off the track and probably resulting in what could have been quite a serious accident. Well, it was a serious accident, but could have resulted in quite serious injury for Max Verstappen. But then I also think they definitely should have... And, and the start of this race, for example, Lewis probably should have let Max back through, even... I know, Joe, you think he was pushed off the track, but I think, in principle, it was a bit of a lunge, and Verstappen did the same thing to him at Brazil, so I think that's the reason he wasn't penalised. But it says in the rules that you can't do that, so Verstappen should have been penalised in Brazil, and wasn't, and Hamilton should have been penalised here. But I think there's now a history, this season, of the FIA looking at their own rules and thinking, well, we're just not really interested in them. Well, what can I say? I think I think Red Bull are very happy, but I don't think they're very happy that they haven't won the Constructors' Championship, which I think is what Christian Horner secretly quite wanted. So, Red Bull have lost out in the Constructors, Mercedes have lost out in the Drivers, McLaren have lost out on P4, Ferrari have lost out on the top two, which is really where Ferrari should be. Who else has lost out? Aston Martin lost out massively this season, so did Alpine. AlphaTauri have lost out on P5. Everyone has lost out this season, except Williams, who have had... Maybe their points were a bit lucky. And as far as I can tell, the producers of Drive to Survive, who have had... they've looked at each other at the end of this season. They've had Mercedes fans on this side of the paddock, Red Bull fans there. They've all got spears and are chucking them at each other with, fires and stuff. That's an exaggeration that hasn't actually happened, but it's metaphorical. And the Netflix offices are right in the middle, and they're just going, yes, yes, we have so
Right
much content. We have so much content for Drive to Survive. We're all getting massive raises. Like,
Indeed.
Netflix have had an absolute field day of a season. And to be honest, I think so have we, the fans. If we look back on quite an incredible season, I'm very happy with the way that the season went. I may not be entirely convinced that it was handled the right way at the end or throughout the season, but I do think that it's been a very exciting season. Strong points from the season while we wait for decisions from the FIA. I think Lewis's win at Silverstone. Yeah, it basically, as far as I can tell, like, everything that could have happened for it to be a Netflix movie happened. You know? Well, I'll go through that in my things that I think were the hallmarks of this season. I think we have to start off with that very first win for Lewis Hamilton in Bahrain. The very first bit of on-track action, and when we all realised it's not going to be Mercedes 1-2 this year, as it has been for so long. And I think all the fans just went, finally, we're back to the good old days. But
it was definitely eventful and exciting.
Yeah, we have to remember, of course, that the last time we had non-domination from a team, we all talk about Mercedes domination from 2014. But you've got to remember, Red Bull dominated from 2010 to 2013. You know, Sebastian Vettel won 4 world titles on the trot. He holds the record for most races won. He won 9 races in a row in the 2013 season, or something ridiculous, with Red Bull. So, you know, but I agree in the way that Mercedes' dominance has felt a bit more pressured, because we had title fights. You know, Fernando Alonso in 2012 dragged that Ferrari that, as far as I can tell, was about as aerodynamic as a house to the final race. Like, that's a miracle, as far as I can tell. Fernando Alonso 2012, absolute peak Fernando. Another high point of the season coming on from that, Fernando Alonso. I thought he was going to come back and he was going to be old and decrepit and he was going to have lost it after 2 years. No! He's absolutely still got it, and I'm confident that if Alpine... What I really want, Aston Martin versus Alpine next year, Seb Vettel and Fernando Alonso at it again. 2022 season. I'll call it right now. A lot of people are calling Leclerc and Ferrari for next year. I'm calling Seb Vettel and Aston Martin. But
really, Aston?
I'm calling Aston, yeah, because just based purely off the people that they've hired. If you look at the people, like, Ferrari have the most resources, but I also think that you know, they've had those resources for a while, and they haven't done anything. They haven't done much with them. They came close in 2017, 2018, but they were never quite up there with them.
Who knows what's going to happen next year? That's the thing. Who knows?
Exactly, and that's the great thing about the 2022 season. Nobody's quite sure what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen next year, or in fact in the years afterwards. But what I hope, and what I think a lot of people hope, is that we don't have more dominance. We have a kind of early 2000s, no, that's Ferrari dominance, kind of like late 2000s era, where you had one person wins one year and then the next person wins the next year. And yeah, I think that would be best for the sport, and I hope that the new regulations can do that in terms of the technical ability.
However, what I would say is, arguably today, a lot of people that, I mean, on Twitter especially, I've been reading, a lot of people just think that it was forced just so that they could have someone different win it. And that just doesn't feel right.
I'd agree, but I don't think it was... I don't think it was done on purpose by the FIA to rig the race beforehand, but I think Michael Massey may have been caught up a bit in himself, and he reckons the fans want a let them race kind of race, and he's given it to them. But he's also learning that being the race director is a hard job. Either way, you're going to displease people, and I think he's done a pretty shocking job, if I'm being honest with you. Once we lost the incredible Charlie Whiting, it's been difficult. It's been difficult. 2019, 2020, not bad seasons, but there wasn't much controversy in those seasons. So you can't really give him much credit for those. And I don't think him or the FIA or the stewards have in fact done those things justice or handled these issues properly. Anyway, we'll continue with more breaking moments from our seasons. I mentioned Fernando Alonso. I think Tsunoda's resurgence at the end of this season, I was worried. I was so worried throughout the whole season. He bidding it in qualifying. I was worried. I didn't think they were going to keep him on. They say Helmut Marko has a great eye for talent. It's just a shame he only has one, and it's pointed at Max Verstappen. But
yeah.
But I think Tsunoda could do it. I think in race trim, at least he's probably stronger than Gasly right now. At least he was this race. Qualifying, of course, Gasly has an edge, but I'm seeing it close. I'd like to see it close next year. More things that I'd like to see next year: Lando Norris winning an F1 race, and George Russell winning an F1 race. Oh, how I want those to happen. I am a bit scared that McLaren will fall off, though. I either think they're going to blow it out the water, or they're going to sink, like they did in 2014, and I just don't want that to happen.
I'm really rooting for McLaren next year.
Yeah, I'm rooting for McLaren and Lando. I think never has there been such an association between a driver and a team. Maybe Leclerc with Ferrari, but I can't think of a pairing that becomes so synonymous with each other. Because when I think of Ferrari, I think of red. The first thing that comes to my mind is red cars, and then I think of Sebastian Vettel because that's the championships that I remember, and Fernando Alonso. And then you think of the battles with McLaren back in the 90s, and that's what you think of with Ferrari. But when I think of McLaren, I think of Zach Brown, and I think of Lando Norris. So, as we know, Lando's my favourite driver, and I'm a big Lando Norris fan. But I am confident that he will get a win next year. What we might do,
hope he does.
What we might do is we will let's have a look. Let's just get up a. Let's get up a note document. Put it over here. And let's have a write, shall we? Let's just check it's coming through. So let's think. Joe, can I make it bigger? Yes, I can. Thank you.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Okay, let's go. Let's go F1 2022 predictions. So, what are we saying? Chat? Give me your predictions. And we'll see. I'm going to go for Norris victory. Norris 2 times victory.
That would be brilliant.
And Aston Martin World Championship Challenge. I can't spell. Joe, give me.
Oh, let's have a think.
I can't spell. Challenger. Yeah, there we go. Right, we'll go. Joe, let's have your predictions. Give me some predictions of yours.
Oh, that's a great question. I think Ferrari might do quite well next time.
Just going Ferrari.
So they've really shown quite good improvement, I'd say.
Yeah, I think their improvements throughout, or maybe not throughout last year, but definitely this year, have been just incredible. Considering they finished 7th last year and they're now 3rd. It took McLaren 6 years to do that, and considering they've done it in 1 is a really impressive feat, to be perfectly honest with you. I know that McLaren problems were internal and they were more corporate than they were to do with the physical engineering, but still, it's really impressive the way that Ferrari have recovered this year, and probably towards the end of last year as well.
How do you think Red Bull's going to do next year?
I think Red Bull's going to drop off.
Yeah.
I think of the 2 current title contenders, I think Mercedes is the most likely to stay at the top.
Yeah.
On the basis that... Oh! No! Because while Lewis may have lost the world drivers, Mercedes have won the constructors, which means they'll have the least aero in testing time for the regs. That's a very good point, actually. Let's just have another look. No new documents so far from the stewards. Let's check Chris's Twitter. Nothing new just yet. But it's tricky. I think they'll both fall off, to be perfectly honest with you. I think a new team will come forwards, as they did at the start of the 2014 regs.
It might be Haas's final chance to shine.
Yes, we'll call it right now. Haas 2022 World Champions with Mazepin. Wins championship by spinning Nicholas Latifi out.
Oh, that'd be great.
At final corner. Lovely.
Apparently Boris is speaking at 8 PM and someone replied to that, did a quote tweet and said Boris is ready to call out the FIA.
Right, Boris Johnson. Let's go, Boris Johnson.
Boris was a driver, that'd be brilliant.
To replace Christian Horner as Red Bull CEO. I don't mean CEO, do I? I mean team boss. Let's have a look. What else could happen? I want Alonso to win a race. Let's have another thing. I think we'll close that for the minute. And we'll go on to we'll change font. Let's go to that. And we'll go... Oh, it changes the whole thing. Joe, I hate this.
Technical difficulties.
Why won't it just...
I'm only seeing your screen through YouTube's great delay, so...
Anyway, let's go with... we'll put in a new title. We'll go... Oh, God, I pressed the wrong... Oh, poop. Hotkey problems. Can't control C, control V because they're hotkeys. Yes, it was me being stupid putting control C, control V as stream hotkeys. That's beside the point.
Why did you do that?
It's beside the point.
That's quite special.
Okay.
It's just showing up on mine.
What do we want? What was I going to say? Oh yeah, best moments of 2021. I think Lando and Daniel, Monza. Boys in chat, give me your favourite moments. Favourite moments from the 2021 season? I think Lewis at Silverstone. Not the Actually, no, I'm going to take that out. Lewis Bahrain. Then we'll go Lando's many podiums.
Someone's put on Twitter, I wouldn't even be mad if Verstappen won from driving a good race. He won from the race purely from the stewards and the FIA being incompetent, cheating people.
Yeah, I think we might. It's definitely not the last we'll hear of it.
Definitely not.
Also, I think deserving on the best moment of 2021, Carlos Sainz. Coming into Ferrari against the Ferrari golden boy Charles Leclerc, he has matched Leclerc as far as I can tell. There's barely any space between them. In the constructors, at least. I find it also a little bit strange that the two most successful drivers this season, in my opinion, Lando and Carlos, were both the McLaren drivers last year. Maybe something has rubbed off on them from that. But there you go.
Have you seen the exact parts of the regulations that they're arguing that...
Yes, it's the bits that I highlighted.
Oh, right.
I then think biggest flops of 2021. We'll go Tsunoda. Because while I know he's improved at the end of the season, he was pretty shocking through most of it. Daniel Ricciardo. Poor season for Danny Rick. I just don't think the car suited him. And he just wasn't very happy. He just wasn't very happy with the whole... thing, really. I just don't think he was very happy in that car. My phone is no longer loading the stream.
That's wonderful.
So much fun, Joe.
I believe someone's put something in chat.
Yeah, they have. Can you read it to me?
Sure.
My chat's gone.
They've put VOI FYI. I can...
VOI.
I will screenshot and send to you.
No, it's fine. I'll get it back in a sec, but it just doesn't make any sense to me.
I might be reading it wrong, to be honest, but...
Give me a sec. I'm hotspotting to my computer. He's just the fall guy. Wrong. Not wrong. But, I have no idea what VOLFYI means, but we'll gloss over that.
Yeah.
Danny Rick, who else? Who else do we reckon are biggest flops of the year, Joe? Aston
Great
Martin.
question. How are you feeling about Bottas?
I wouldn't put him down on biggest flops. He's outscored Perez.
Yeah, but Perez today did a very... I must say, he surprised me.
Yeah, I think Bottas is ahead of Perez, but I think Perez is a better driver than Bottas.
I'd agree with you there.
I'd say pretty mediocre seasons for both of them. I think they've both had their moments. I think Perez has had more moments than Bottas.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, I think with that done, we'll have a look at that later. We'll have one last look. Has anything happened? Nothing under decision documents. Nothing from Chris, I don't think. No, nothing from Chris Medland. Let's do a final check of the documents.
I don't know if you've already read this, but Chris said an hour ago. Christian Horner says, "We are disappointed that there has been a protest, but we trust in the FIA."
Yeah,
Now,
Christian, you didn't trust in the FIA earlier, did you? When you were
Exactly.
pretty angry when they didn't give you that place back on Lewis earlier. Were you, Christian?
Yeah,
but
we'll just gloss over that.
he's a funny man. But you know what we always say, Joe? Small man, big ideas.
Indeed, small man, big ideas.
But anyway, yeah, I don't think we're going to get an answer soon. We may get one later into the evening. If there are decisions, I will keep you all updated on Twitter. At what is my @ Hyperion 365 TV. On Twitter, I will keep you updated on there if anyone wants to learn more. And I will also probably make a video on it. I'll probably make a video explaining exactly what went well. Maybe just a summary of the season. I might make a best and worst moments of the season. Actually, I know exactly who I'm. Actually, I don't think any of these guys deserve to be. We're just going to replace this. There we go. Fix that list. And Joe, just wait for it to come through on the stream.
No, I currently see your Twitter @ on the biggest flops of 2021, which
yeah, we're just fixing the biggest flops of 2021. And now that that's all fixed, we will figure out, and we'll end the stream because I just don't think we're going to get an answer soon from Formula One. I think there's going to be too much because I think the FIA realised that they've done an oopsie.
Indeed. But we'll have to await their final decision.
But I believe they'll make a decision at some point later on.
Yeah.
So, I will close this out. Close that out. Thank you, boys, for coming out to watch. Our first YouTube stream, PogChamp, actually got more views than the Twitch one, which is actually quite good, and I gained a subscriber. So we're all Gucci, and there'll be no more Twitch. Okay, I've determined that it's dying, and therefore we will be switching to YouTube. You're welcome. I'm not sure if there's a problem with YouTube VODs, where they somewhat like mess up channels, so the VOD will remain, but it won't show up as a live video. It'll be privated, but put in a playlist, so you can still watch them. It just won't appear on my channel's main bit. You'll have to go to playlists, and then I'll make a live streaming section on there because YouTube live streaming is still in its infancy in terms of the support around it. But I'll thank you all for watching, and I'll be seeing you all next time. Thanks to Yag for coming and having a chat.
Thank you, Josh.
We will be I will be making some videos, probably no live streams until next season, because it makes more sense. But I'm going to commentate on qualifying and maybe races next year. And we'll see how that goes. Joe, do you want to help? Joe, do you want to commentate? Do you want to commentate with me?
I might do. I might.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll get various different people on for qualifying. Can't wait to get Dylan on for qualifying. You Christian Horner, you. That's basically what he's just going to be like. You might want to turn your volume up for that, Joe, on the stream.
I will do.
And I'll see you all. I'll see you all next time. Good night.
Everyone.
I'll be making videos, so keep that on. Turn the notifications bell on.
Follow us on Twitter. Bye bye.
Yes, follow us on Twitter. Do that. @Hyperion365 TV. Good night.